The badger can't sleep. One day, when the boar was out foraging for acorns, he heard suspicious sounds coming from under a fallen tree.
Terrible insects! Awful bugs!
Someone was clearly upset. The boar approached the tree cautiously.
Those wretched bugs!
Came a voice from a hole between some decayed roots.
Hello?
The boar asked apprehensively.
Is there anything wrong?
Then he saw a black nose sticking out of the hole, sniffing around.
Oh, it's you!
The animal said, slowly crawling out of his underground dwelling. It had a long, white snout with 2 stripes, a sizable belly, and soft grey fur. The boar recognised the animal instantly.
Hi, Badger. Is everything all right?
The boar asked when he noticed the badger frowning.
No, not at all.
The badger waved his paws in frustration and rubbed his tired eyes.
Shouldn't you be sleeping by now?
The boar replied, remembering that badgers don't usually wake up so early.
Don't even mention that. Oh,
the badger sighed.
I haven't slept for a week.
Why? The boar asked.
Put your ear close to my burrow and listen,
the badger replied. The boar did as he was told. He crouched over the hole and strained his ears to listen, but didn't hear anything. He even held his breath to better hear the sound, but didn't hear anything disturbing despite his best efforts.
Do you get it now?
The badger asked.
To be honest, no, the boar replied. I can't hear a thing. Impossible! The badger exclaimed. I can hear it very well. Little feet stamping all the time. Hundreds of feet. Thousands even.
The badger clutched his head in agony. The boar decided to give it one more shot and tried to listen for the disturbing sounds again. After a while, he could finally hear a faint stamping sound. The sound did not bother the boar, but it drove the badger nuts.
Are those ants?
The boar asked.
Yes, ants! The badger cried. They decided to build an anthill right above my hole. I can't sleep now because of all that stamping. They are the worst neighbours one can possibly have. They keep walking all the time, pacing and marching, building all those halls and corridors, carrying supplies, sorting them out and all that. They don't even take breaks to let me nap.
How about talking to them about it? The boar kindly suggested.
Ask them to keep the noise down, if it is even possible,
he added under his breath.
To be honest, I have never tried talking to them, the badger admitted. But I complain a lot and I do it out loud. If those ants wanted to be good neighbours, they would have changed their habits. I think they are just doing it to spite me.
You shouldn't say that, the boar warned. Try talking to them. It won't hurt to do that, and you might even find a solution to your problem. The boar lowered his head over the anthill.
Hello, ants,
he called out in a friendly manner.
Can I have a word with you?
The stamping ceased momentarily.
The badger's been having sleepless nights, the boar continued. We would like to know if your colony could keep the volume down.
A few ants stuck their heads out of the hole, and soon a company of ants stood in front of the friends.
Good morning,
the leader of the delegation said.
We would like to report that we hear badgers' complaints every day. If we could, we would move somewhere else too, because Badger's Hole isn't the best neighbourhood for us.
Likewise, the badger countered.
We would like to show some goodwill and try to meet our neighbours' needs,
the leader continued.
Thus, we have come up with a unique invention that will make it easier for him to sleep.
What invention?
The boar asked, intrigued.
From now on, every ant in our colony will be wearing moss slippers.
The members of the delegation presented their suggested footwear to the boar.
The slippers will muffle the sounds of stamping and pacing,
the leader explained.
What do you think, dear neighbour?
I appreciate the gesture,
the badger replied in a nice tone.
Let's try and see if it works.
The badger slid into his hole and made himself comfortable.
Night, night.
The boar looked into the hole.
I will be back tomorrow.
I hope you will be well rested and in a better mood.
See you,
the badger replied as he yawned and closed his heavy eyelids.
March! Away!
The ant leader ordered, and the little insects also disappeared in the corridors of their home. The next day, the boar, as he had promised, went to see the badger to check if everything had gone well. Unfortunately, he heard familiar complaints and groans from afar.
This is awful! Oh, terrible! I can't stand it!
The badger kept moaning.
What is going on?
The boar asked. You still can't sleep?
No, I can't!
The badger cried in agony.
Haven't the ants muffled their marching noise?
No!
The badger cried. I have a feeling that they are stomping even harder and louder now.
How about moving further away from the anthill? The boar suggested, trying to find a solution.
Do you think I should move out and dig another hole? Over my dead body, I was the first one here,
the badger remarked furiously. Nobody needs to move out, the boar quickly added, trying to calm his friend down. I just thought that a nap in the old tree trunk could do you a world of good. The trunk is empty and quite similar to a badger hole. If you tried to fall asleep over the anthill and not under it, the noise might not reach you.
Well, that's a pretty good idea,
the badger admitted. Heeding his friend's advice, the badger crawled out of the hole and trudged to the old tree trunk. He made himself comfortable, closed his eyes and tried to fall asleep again. The boar peered through a crack to make sure all was well for his pal. He saw the badger rubbing his eyes sleepily, then scratching his nose and ear. Finally, the badger let out a soft groan and rolled sideways, over and over again.
No, I can't do this,
the badger cried and crawled out.
I need to sleep in my bed. Oh, what am I going to do?
The poor animal was in complete distress.
To be honest, I'm running out of ideas,
the boar admitted.
I think we should ask someone wiser for help.
How about the owl? The badger suddenly perked up.
Yes, the owl usually has good ideas,
the boar agreed happily.
I heard the owl has cured the fox of hay fever,
the badger added.
Do you think the owl will be able to help me?
Well, he is active at night, just like you are, the boar pointed out. He should know all the ways to combat any sleeping problems.
All right, let's get going,
the badger said. Both animals trekked in silence, the badger on the right side of the path and the boar on the left side. Both were sure the other one knew the way.
Hey, boar,
the badger said.
Where exactly are we going?
What? The boar replied in shock. I thought you knew the way to the owl's place. They looked around, but saw nobody they could ask for help. They fell silent and heard a noise coming from a distance.
Someone is running our way,
the badger said after a while.
Can you hear it stamping?
No, I can't hear a thing, the boar replied, listening intently.
It is stamping for sure,
the badger said.
Wait for me, Wait!
A tiny voice cried out. It was the ant leader trying to catch up with the two friends. The badger lifted it up and put it on a branch.
I heard you're going to the owls,
the ant panted.
and I thought you might need some help with navigation.
Navigation? The friends asked in surprise.
We ants have got a very good sense of direction,
The six-legged insect replied.
Can you help us find the owl?
The badger asked, surprised by his new neighbour's kind offer.
Of course,
The leader said.
we are the cause of your sleeping problems after all.
Lead the way, General.
The boar commanded. The badger placed the ant onto his head, with the insect giving them directions using one of his 6 legs. Soon they arrived at an old birch tree where the owl's nest was.
Good morning.
The boar called out, but there was no answer.
Good morning, owl.
The badger repeated, tossing a pine cone at the tree hole. The pine cone hit the tree and the owl looked out. Its feathers dishevelled and its eyes narrowed.
Who are you?
Said the owl as he opened one eye sleepily.
We are sorry to interrupt your sleep,
The badger meekly replied.
but I would like to seek your advice on an urgent matter.
What's the matter?
The owl asked.
I have a sleeping problem.
The badger began.
It's our fault.
The ant leader added.
We built a nest over the badger's hole, and now we can't sleep because of our constant stamping.
Oh, I see. The owl nodded sagely. I understand it perfectly. I have problems sleeping because of animal sounds too.
Really?
The badger asked, surprised.
And what did you do to make it stop?
Nothing, the owl replied. They can make as much noise as they want to because I wear earplugs made of poplar fluff. Once they are inside my ears, no sound can wake me up. I have got a lot of such plugs inside my nest. Would you like to try them out?
Oh, yes, please.
The badger cried joyfully. The owl flew down and handed a few fluffy white balls to the badger. The badger stuffed them into his ears immediately, eager to try it out.
Try stamping now, General,
he said to the ant leader. The insect jumped onto a tree stump and stamped his feet a few times.
It works!
The badger yelled, speaking a little louder than usual.
I can't hear a thing!
Well, I'm going back to nap now, the owl said. And so should you, he added, disappearing inside the nest. The animals made their way back to the fallen tree, which housed the ant's nest and the badger's hole.
Oh, this feels right.
The badger sighed in contentment, jumping into his bed.
I wonder if the earplugs will
Really work, he added with a yawn. In a matter of minutes, a loud snoring came from under the tree roots. The boar was overjoyed, relieved to know his friend had finally fallen asleep. Thank you for your help, the boar said to the ant leader. We couldn't have located the owl's nest without you.
No problem,
The general replied with a salute.
I am on my way to tell the ants that they don't need to worry about the stamping noise,
he added, and disappeared inside the ant nest. Now that the boar was finally alone, he could hear his stomach rumbling. Right, he finally remembered. I was supposed to look for acorns. The boar was so caught up in the badger's sleeping problem that he had forgotten about his own dinner. After filling his tummy with food, the boar went back to his den and laid down in a comfortable sleeping position. There is nothing better than a nap in the middle of a sunny day, thought the boar as he drifted off to sleep.